Okay, so we have one more speaker, Len Bennett from the Green Party of Rhode Island. Len?
Thank you. Let me know if you can't hear me. So I prepared some remarks. So that I could put the important points forward without stumbling around. So with your permission, I'm just going to go ahead and read them. We citizens of the United States live in the belly of the beast. For decades, our presidents have seen themselves as emperors. They have engaged in nuclear blackmail, subterfuge, criminality, nation wrecking, subversion, murder, and war making. 535 members of Congress have routinely abdicated their responsibilities and have allowed these psychopaths to abuse and kill people of the world with abandon. The military-industrial congressional complex is driven by greed and bloodlust. This cabal owns the U.S. government via the mechanism of a duopoly. The Democratic and Republican parties are loyal lackeys to this insidious profit-before-everything organized crime syndicate. Senators and congressmen pride themselves on bringing home the bacon without anything resembling a moral compass. The entire genus subscribes to the mythology of American exceptionalism in order to spend obscene amounts of money on weapons of mass destruction as well as more mundane means of killing like bullets and conventional bombs. Sometimes these creatures will make a show of wringing their hands and crying crocodile tears over collateral damage, the euphemism they employ to belie the truth that their choices result in the maiming or death of hundreds, thousands, and probably millions of women and children. Now the fact is that history demonstrates how the male of our species seems driven to engage in war making. But here in the 21st century, we know a thing or two about human behavior, and we need not fall prey to the darker side of ourselves. Sorry about that. Religion has abandoned any pretense of being able to rein in the aggression. But the good news is that some wiser people have, in the aftermath of conflagration, devised international law, including the Kellogg-Briand Pact, which outlaws war. The United Nations is a foundation upon which to build peace. These organizations and tools can only achieve their mission when America stops ignoring, thwarting, and subverting them for its own purposes. Very often the CIA, or special ops agents, are the first to stir up trouble. Then the U.S. military is sent in for regime change and never-ending occupation. The only winners are the corporations and arms manufacturers. I must now address the existence of a segment of our citizenry, those whose livelihoods are derived from working in this industry. It is generally impossible to alter a person's opinion when his salary is derived from believing a falsehood. That is, that war is peace. Patriotism is invoked without even minimal critical thinking to excuse upgraded nefarious devices like landmines, MOABs, cluster bombs, napalm, Agent Orange, depleted uranium, white phosphorus, neutron bombs, fission and fusion bombs capable of killing millions of people, delivery systems, Apache attack helicopters, drones, A-10s, F-35s, and on and on and on. These are highly engineered, carefully designed, mass-produced instruments of murder. Then the owners of these abominations whine that some indigenous people of an illegally occupied country have the audacity to use improvised explosive devices. Who was it who said, "As ye sow, so shall ye reap"? Defense industry workers possess technical skills of significance. and receive better than average salaries. The only way to lure them away from weapons production is with equivalent work and pay, doing something of value for society. What they are presently doing is going to fail the U.S. society as the rest of humanity becomes fed up. We all know that the American economic model is on the verge of collapse due to inequities and injustices inherent in the system, but built centuries ago on genocide and slavery. Almost done. Is it really possible that today's presidents can divorce themselves from the political DNA of the founding fathers, whose words were loftier than their deeds? If one of them cries America first, it is just a newer version of cry havoc. President Trump has told us who he is, and just this once I believe him. His predecessor was just slicker, no less murderous. Oppose McConnell, oppose Ryan, oppose Schumer, oppose Pelosi. Seek an alternative to business and politics as usual. Thank you.